There's a famous saying, a second chance doesn't mean anything if you haven't learned from your first. This quote, though anonymous, has been shared as common wisdom for generations. Unfortunately, it seems like this nugget of wisdom never reached the higher-ups over at Nexon. Fans of looter shooters and MMOs have been eagerly anticipating the release of the First Descendant ever since we got that exciting teaser trailer back in July 2022. But then, this past January, a bombshell hit. It was revealed that Nexon had secretly and illegally lowered the drop rates on their Gatcha reward system and their smash hit game, MapleStory, to nearly 0%. Not only did they make this change behind the scenes, but they also blatantly lied to their customers, claiming no such changes were made. While the specifics of Nexon's shady microtransaction practices could be a whole video on their own, the key takeaway here is that this revelation left gamers extremely skeptical about what to expect from Nexon's next big release, the First Descendant. With this in mind, players around the world jumped into the final technical test for this game this past weekend. I'm here today to give you my thoughts on this final open beta test. So real quick before we get into the rest of the video, I just wanted to say that we got an update last night from the developers of the First Descendant. So I want to add in here all of the things that they gave us updates on, such as color customization, inventory, and a few other things. I'm going to splice them into the video I had already completed. I just wanted to make sure you had the latest information, so that's why I'm adding it here and now. There are 4 main areas of critique that I'll touch on. Those being the Descendants, weapons, inventory space, and color palette customization. But before I do that, I want to briefly highlight the strengths of this game, because despite its glaring shortcomings, the developers executed the good aspects exceptionally well. First off, the graphics and cinematics of the First Descendant are nothing short of breathtaking. The game features stunningly detailed environments, lifelike character models, and vibrant visual effects that bring its sci-fi world to life. The cinematics are particularly impressive, delivering a cinematic quality that immerses players in the game's narrative with fluid animations, dramatic lighting, and expertly crafted sequences. Every visual element works together to create a visually captivating experience that stands out in the looter shooter genre. This game has some of the most enjoyable shooting, area traversing, and ability usage of any looter shooter I've ever played. Combat is a highlight, with satisfying gunplay that emphasizes both precision and tactics. Players must often strategize and coordinate their abilities to overcome challenging enemies and bosses. Additionally, the looter shooter aspect means there's always the lure of discovering new and powerful gear, which keeps the gameplay loop engaging and rewarding. Overall, the First Descendant delivers a compelling mix of action, exploration, and character progression that is both challenging and fun. However, despite everything the game does well, it's overshadowed by questionable design choices and predatory monetization tactics. With that in mind, let's delve into the rough spots of this game and hope for improvements in the future. We'll start with the Descendants. Piloting the Descendant feels intuitive and familiar, much like slipping into the controls of any well-designed game. Character movement and responsiveness feel amazing. I know people have complained that earlier betas had stiff movement, but I never got into those closed betas, so this time around, I can say that moving around the zones, tracking enemies, and platforming were all on point. In terms of movement, mastering the grappling hook adds a fresh layer of complexity. It's a mechanic that at first might throw you off with its nuances, particularly how it handles momentum and mid-air maneuvers. But give it a few weeks and I'm confident players will be zipping through zones with impressive speed and agility, fully leveraging the unique movement dynamics that the grappling hook offers. Some abilities in the game come with a placement indicator before casting, which is incredibly helpful. However, I think adopting a system similar to League of Legends could enhance this even further. Imagine being able to bind specific keys to display these indicators before casting, giving players a clearer idea of where their abilities will land. Other keys could be set for instant casts, streamlining the gameplay. This feature would not only assist new players in getting to grips with their abilities faster, but also enable seasoned players, especially those experimenting with various Descendants, to master their characters more efficiently. It's possible my game had a glitch, but I couldn't manage to climb onto the Colossus and dismantle its parts as shown in the tutorial. This ability might be restricted to certain classes, though after numerous attempts, I couldn't make it work with my character. The initial tutorial showcased this as a highlight, making it all the more frustrating when I couldn't replicate it. While this issue might be resolved by the game's official launch, it's noteworthy that I haven't seen this problem mentioned by other players or acknowledged by the development team during the final technical test. Basic progression of your Descendant is broken up into two parts. First, you have leveling progression, which increases the more you kill enemies and complete missions. Every time you level up, you receive boons such as increases to max HP, max shield, max defense. Generally, these level ups will make you tankier in order to take on more difficult content. Then you have Descendant Mastery. Experience points for mastery are received at basic level ups and when completing missions. You can only unlock the next mastery rank by going back to Albion and using the Prime Hands machine. For instance, upon reaching mastery rank 3, you gain significant boosts such as +3 to your weapon and Descendant mods, along with an extra inventory slot. It's crucial to monitor your mastery progress. As far as I know, any experience points you earn after reaching your current max rank are wasted until you return to Albion to rank up using Prime Hands. And that's my biggest gripe with ranking up. Also, the Prime Hands cutscenes get repetitive after the first one. Plus, I think all players would love to see their character's appearance undergo a visible change to signal your mastery level to others. But that's not a necessity, just icing on the cake. If you enjoy content like this, please like and subscribe. It shows me the type of content you all want to see and where I should focus my time and attention. Also, leave a comment with your thoughts on the First Descendant and what you hope to get out of this game on full release. The First Descendant offers you the general arsenal variety that you've come to expect from looter shooters. You have assault rifles, shotguns, hand cannons, machine guns, submachine guns, sniper rifles, and a few others. My best advice to you is simple and straightforward. Try out all of the weapons first so you get a feel for their damage, firing rate, and effective range. Select the 3 weapons that suit your playstyle. Try to choose weapons that have different ammo types. I'll touch on why that's important in a second. Then, every time you complete a mission, go through your inventory and select the new highest DPS weapons for your layout. And that's it. Back to the different ammo types. We have general rounds, special rounds, impact rounds, and high-powered rounds. Each weapon archetype uses one of these ammo types. My advice is to equip weapons that each use a different type of ammo to avoid overlap. My go-to loadout typically consists of an assault rifle, sniper rifle, and a shotgun. Usually they all demand different types of ammo. However, there were a couple of instances where both my shotgun and sniper shared the same ammo type. Unfortunately, this ammo type wasn't readily available when I found myself surrounded by mobs or facing off against a boss, which meant I only had my assault rifle for the entire encounter. Though frustrating, I managed to scrape through with my primary weapon, but it was a close call. If I had ran out of general rounds too, I'd have been left to solely rely on my abilities, hoping for MP refills, and resorting to melee attacks. One issue I know people will greatly complain about on full release is the weapon crafting at the Research Institute. Once you've collected materials on blueprints for a powerful weapon, you can unlock it permanently from this NPC. Unfortunately, crafting these ultimate weapons takes about 4 hours to complete, and I believe you're limited to crafting only 5 items at a time. This is an unnecessary issue that Nexon created, so that they could sell you the solution. You can spend a premium currency called Caliber in order to speed up the crafting process. Not only that, there are weapon XP boosts you can purchase as well, which means you can complete your weapon crafting sooner and level up your guns faster than people who don't spend real money on this game. Free-to-play players won't be able to keep up with whales spending money for the best items in order to tackle harder content faster. I hope this is something Nexon looks into seriously, because no one likes their progression blocked off by a paywall. They are already in the doghouse, and pay-to-win mechanics such as this will push looter shooter fans to steer away from this game altogether. Since we've touched on the Descendants and weapon variety, let me just say this. Your own Descendant needs a lot of weapons and components to feel powerful. That's usually going to be anywhere from 5 to 10 guns, so that you can swap out depending on the mission type and enemies you'll face. Plus another 10 to 20 components or reactor, which we haven't touched on yet, but real quick, your Descendant will need to have 1 reactor equipped and 4 components in order to increase stats such as ability power, max HP, defense, and shielding. At a minimum, you're looking at needing 30 slots just for readily available items you want to use. And that's just for one character. If you decide to play multiple Descendants, then the necessity for inventory space increases exponentially. Again, these are just inventory slots for items you already know you're going to use. How about collecting items out in the open world from killing bosses and completing missions? Well, I can tell you that in my playtime, I could easily pick up over 50 items in about 15 to 20 minutes. This is a major issue because Nexon limits our starting inventory to just 50 slots. The +1 to inventory space you get with each Descendant Mastery rank up feels like a slap in the face. They know inventory is a problem, but instead of fixing it, something they could easily do considering they provide 1,000 slots for Descendant mods, they prefer to sell you the solution by making you purchase additional inventory slots with premium currency. It's ridiculous and highlights their predatory microtransactions. Unless this is corrected before the final release, it will be one of the biggest failings of the First Descendant, second only to the atrocious Spectrum Chart Combiner, aka the color mod Gatcha System. Alright, so inventory space was one of the items I got addressed last night, so let me just read off in the words of the developers what exactly they're doing. First of all, we want to eliminate inconvenience by significantly increasing the basic capacity of the inventory. In addition, we will improve inventory and equipment management UI as much as possible to create a pleasant play environment. So from my understanding, they're basically going to give us a bigger inventory to start with, and they're going to improve the inventory system UI. Players unanimously agree that the Spectrum Chart Combiner system was the most disappointing aspect of the final technical test. Here's a breakdown of how it works. You use premium currency called Caliber to purchase 3 different materials: atom topcoats, ort stones, and spectrometers. These materials are then combined at the Spectrum Chart Combiner machine in Albion, resulting in a random color out of approximately 60 options. Essentially, players are spending real money for a chance to obtain a desired color randomly. What makes the system even worse is that once you use a color on a Descendant costume or a weapon, it's permanently removed from your inventory. Given that Descendants can have multiple customizable elements like clothes, headgear, gloves, boots, and weapons, this means players could go through numerous colors quickly, and once a color is used, it's gone for good, prompting players to spend more money for another random chance at getting the desired color. This system has received significant criticism since the final technical test, and I'd like to share my thoughts on how it could be improved. 2 major changes can make a substantial difference. Firstly, Nexon should reconsider the currency system. It's overly greedy to charge players for basic color customization. Instead, they could let players acquire the Gatcha System materials through gameplay, reserving special colors or unique patterns for premium currency, though even that could be seen as excessive. Secondly, allowing players to trade color mods, either with NPCs or other players, would greatly improve the system. This would make it easier for players to obtain the colors they want without relying solely on luck. Expanding trading beyond colors could further enhance the game's experience, allowing players to trade rare weapons, mods, materials, and other items that would not only make the game feel more like an MMO, but also foster a stronger sense of community and vitality among players. Alright, the Gatcha system was also addressed last night, so let's see what they had to say. First of all, we decided to discard the paint random combination system that received the most criticism. We will expand the paint so that you can get more in a variety of ways in the future. So basically, it seems to me that we're no longer having to use premium currency in order to get a random paint color, and they're going to add ways for us to receive these colors through gameplay. As I mentioned at the start, Nexon has dug themselves into a deep hole with their existing player base and prospective fans of the First Descendant. While there is definite promise in this game, the designers need to shift their focus from catering to whales to creating a better overall experience that can sustain players for years to come. Lastly, I just want to touch on a few more things that they mentioned last night during the update. Okay, so first off, they said that they're going to remove the battle coins that cause a lot of inconvenience for the battle pass, and also you can earn rewards just by raising the level of battle passes. Also, they're going to improve the battle pass UI to make sure it's easier to use. Next, they talked about game optimization. So for instance, they're going to lift the frame limits for in-game cinematics. Also, they spent a few minutes talking about how they beefed up the security for the First Descendant. They already stepped up security last year during the cross-play open beta test, but they're looking to strengthen it by adding easy anti-cheats before the game's final release. And lastly, they're going to be showing us something new on June 7th on the Summer Games Fest, so they want us to keep an eye out for that. Thank you for watching until the end. Please leave a comment below with your thoughts on the First Descendant or Nexon in general. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.